Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new edition of Africa Today. Always, Cairo and Egypt is in the heart of Africa, and Africa, we are just trying to get the smell of Africa and the voice of Africa. And the continent is really the young continent and the continent of opportunities. We start with the important meeting with His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Mostafa with his Algerian counterpart, as they held the two deeply rooted ties between Egypt and Algeria long years ago, politically, economically, and in trade, investments, and in various domains. Yesterday also, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with the Algerian Prime Minister as well, and he held the Algerian stance for the African and for the Arab causes. Of course, special and first of all, supporting the Palestinian cause and the legitimate right of the Palestinian for their independent state, and also for ceasefire and etc. Today, the Prime Minister Dr. Mostafa Madbouli, he attended and headed the 9th higher joint Egyptian-Algerian committee meetings at the new capital with the Algerian counterpart, with the two delegations of the two countries. In the meeting, they discussed how to bolster the bilateral ties between the two countries, in particular in trade, economy, and also in investment.
The 9th session of the Egyptian-Algerian Joint High Committee. The meeting focuses on discussing Minister Dr. Saifi Gharib co-chaired on Wednesday the 9th session of the Egyptian-Algerian Joint High Committee. The meeting focuses on discussing a wide range of issues of mutual interest and reviewing opportunities for deeper cooperation. Several memoranda of understanding and agreements are also set to be signed across various sectors, reflecting the shared commitment to strengthening bilateral relations in the coming period. The session is held in parallel with the Egyptian-Algerian Business Forum, which brings together leading business figures from both countries to explore new avenues for partnership and investment. It's worth noting that Egypt and Algeria enjoy long-standing and close relations, with both sides keen on regularly convening the Joint High Committee. 8 successful sessions have been held so far, the most recent of which took place in mid-2022 in Algeria, where a number of agreements and cooperation protocols were signed in multiple fields. Earlier on Tuesday, Prime Minister Madbouli welcomed Gharib at Cairo International Airport, where the Algerian Premier arrived at the head of an official delegation to participate in the 9th session of the Joint High Committee. The reception was attended by Minister of Labour, Mohammed Gibran. Upon his arrival, a formal ceremony was held in honor of the Algerian Prime Minister and his accompanying delegation, followed by an inspection of the Guard of Honor.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still ahead on Nile TV International, our today's edition of Africa Today, and of course, deeply rooted ties binding the two countries, the two brotherly nations, Egypt and Algeria. Long years ago, long history, and starting from the 60s, as Egypt supported Algeria for independence and in its revolution. To shed more light on such important bilateral ties, we are so delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, international relations expert. Dr. Ahmed, great pleasure having you with us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you with you. Okay.
Two important and significant meeting of the 9th highly joint Egyptian-Algerian committee meetings today with the two delegations of the two countries. In the time being, the timing of the visit and the timing of bolstering the bilateral relations as well, in which we are witnessing geostrategic challenges regionally and internationally?
Yeah, this is, as you said, a very important and very crucial time just to have such talks between Egypt and Algeria, because you know that Egypt having like a historical, impact on the Algerian revolution, because we supported the revolution and get rid of the colonization of France since the time of leader Abdel Nasser. And also Algeria has like agreed to rule even in the war of 1973. This liberation war started from the Zionist entity. And at this time, because Algeria is also non-permanent member of the Security Council and has agreed to rule in the Security Council in this time being and playing representative of the Arab world and the Islamic world as well in this regard. Therefore, it is crucial just to coordinate the situation concerning, moving to phase 2 and phase 3 of the ceasefire agreement that made by the 13th of October. In terms of the energy, because also we know that the matter of energy for Egypt is also crucial and the energy is volatile. Accordingly, cooperation in Algeria, especially in the natural gas, is something important at this time being, because it will make us avoid any, volatile situation in the international market as well, because Algeria is one of the biggest exporters of the gas worldwide, not just on the regional
the LNG.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. That was supposed to be my second question. Of course, the sectors of bilateral cooperation, of course, in particular as the north country of the African continent, Algerian, is very rich on the LNG or gas and many other resources, and there are so many sectors for collaboration between the two countries, especially in the time being. Yes. Well, the higher committee meetings of the delegation, or the 9th higher committee meeting this year, they discussed in particular the bilateral cooperation in trade, also in investment, how to widen and to enhance the collaboration between the two countries in investments as well. Your point of view?
Yeah, do you remember that the last April, Badr Abdelati, our foreign minister, already has paid a visit to Algeria to collaborate in this regard, because we're supposed to enhance the cooperation in the field of infrastructure, as well as other issues for several reasons, because Algeria and Egypt having similar, stances that will facilitate the cooperation between each other. And also, Algeria is a big country in terms of the area. It's 2 times maybe the area of Egypt. Therefore, they need more and more infrastructure. And the Egyptian company, they have agreed to instruction, as well as in the scientific research and artificial intelligence. And both countries, they having, the infrastructure for the artificial intelligence, digitalization, things like that. And also, Algeria may import some, other issues from Egypt that already made in Egypt, as well as the food stuff and so on. Therefore, this matter of these issues will enhance the cooperation between the two countries.
Yeah. Dr. Mostafa, I would like to refer to the significant meeting between His Excellency the President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the Algerian Prime Minister yesterday, and the fully alignment and the political issues or the political files regionally and internationally, in particular the Palestinian cause, and how Algeria is really with Egypt, totally agree with Egypt on supporting the legitimate right of the Palestinian people. How you find your point of view that the fully alignment and political views open new horizon always for collaboration and more cooperation between the countries?
I think, as I told you, Algeria currently is representing the Arab and the Muslim countries via the Security Council. Therefore, we're just betting on them to carry out our agenda. And our agenda is supporting the Palestinian people just to surmount this difficult era in their time because of occurring to the genocide from the Zionist entity. Therefore, there were a lot of collaboration on the level of the foreign ministers, on the level of the Security Council, on the level of the two states heads, Mr. Sisi and the Algerian president. And Algeria, of course, we have a supporting stance since the beginning of the 7th of October to the Palestinian people and to the Gazans, just to stop the genocide and just to giving the access to the food aid as well as the Medicare and the energy supplies. Therefore, according to such coordination between two of the top countries in the Arab world, they can do a joint greater work together. And Algeria really is a country that you can bet up on. And as I told you before, they support Egypt even in the war anti-Israel in 1973 in the liberation of Sinai. This is why Algeria is credible for us. And also Algeria is one of the most important countries in North Africa. This is why the cooperation is going to be fruitful in this regard on several levels, whether in political and geostrategic issues, as well as on the other issues concerning, the businesses, investments, and so on. And just to enhance, the joint committee between the two countries that was made last April in this regard.
Of course, and as you mentioned, Dr. Mostafa, it's so essential that in an Arabic country like the Algerian country or an African country to exist in the Security Council for the time being, to support the Arab causes, like first of all, of course, the Palestinian cause, the other conflicts, to try to solve the other conflicts and struggles in Africa, like in Sudan, Libya, etc. So, but from the other side, how could it work with always what we face or what we confront from the other side with the American veto for some Arab issues?
We know that. It's a little bit complicated because Israel is representing the West, especially in our region. Therefore, you will always find at least an American veto if there is no veto from France or from America in this regard, because Russia and China are supporting the Palestinian cause. Therefore, as I told you, it's complicated because Israel represents the West in this regard, and the Western interest in the Middle East. Therefore, this is the American veto. It is expected and logical to come to the favor of Israel, disregarding all the genocide and all the Holocaust and all the killing and bloodshed that happened to the Palestinians daily and by violations of the ceasefire agreement in this regard. Therefore, once you coordinate with the countries that having a greater weight, even if it is like a non-permanent member of the Security Council, as well as with the other powers like China and Russia, I think it will give your situation a greater, weight in this regard, and also you can make bargains because in the way and in the field of politics, a lot of bargains and the trade-offs are taking place in that respect, and accordingly, the foreign ministers and the people in that respect can play a greater role to settle, some of the problem of the issues. But the most important thing is that we don't need only Algeria to support, for example, or not only Egypt and Algeria to be the only countries who are supporting the rights of the Palestinians, but we need all the other countries of the Arab world, the Islamic world, and the South to support our side.
Exactly.
Accordingly, we will reach what we want.
Yeah, we need all to unite together to work and support for one target, one aim, which is the stability and solidarity of all the Arab and African countries together. Well, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, international relations expert, many thanks for your insights and for being with us. Well, moving on to the another very significant event, which is the EU EU summit, the African Union, European Union summit, in which Egypt actually committed and underscores great importance for the stability and security of all the African countries, and that's why exerting most of the time ongoing and unwavering efforts to solve the conflicts in the African continent, starting from Sudan over there, on day and night diplomatic visits and discussions and debates for solving the problems in the conflict of the civil war in Sudan, also the derating situation in Libya and everywhere around in the African continent. And with the EU summit took place in Luanda in Angola, with the participation of the Prime Minister Dr. Mostafa Madbouli.
Prime Minister Mostafa Madbouli said that Egypt supports efforts to safeguard African security and stability and backs moves toward a more balanced global order, describing Africa's security as integral to that of Egypt and the wider world. Madbouli made the remarks during the first plenary session of Peace, Security, Governance and Multilateralism at the 7th African Union-European Union AU-EU Summit held in Luanda, Angola on the 24th and 25th of November. In his address, Madbouli outlined Egypt's role in regional security initiatives, including efforts with international partners to implement the Sharm el-Sheikh Agreement on a Gaza ceasefire and Cairo's continued support for an exclusively Libyan-led political process. He also cited Egypt's backing for sustainable financing for the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, maritime security in the Red Sea, counter-terrorism initiatives in the Sahel, and stability efforts in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo DRC. Madbouli reiterated Egypt's call for an end to the war in Sudan, condemning reported violations in al-Fashir and stressing the need to preserve Sudan's unity and institutional stability. He also voiced Cairo's opposition to unilateral actions in the Horn of Africa or the Red Sea that could undermine regional sovereignty or heighten tensions. Madbouli conveyed President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's appreciation to Angola for its chairmanship of the EU, noting progress made in operationalizing the African peace and security architecture with EU support. He said ongoing conflicts remain among the biggest obstacles to development goals under Agenda 2063, adding that recent crises underscored how African security is closely linked to the European security. He stressed that any AU-EU partnership must rest on mutual respect, national ownership and protection of state institutions and territorial integrity.
Well, and moving on now to Nigeria. Nigeria is supposed to be or considered to be one of the most richest countries of the continent, but now they are threatened and they are braces for its worst ever hunger crisis in decades. This is what the World Food Program had indicated and said that the situation in Nigeria is getting from bad to worse. And after also the latest reports of the WFP, as the around the 350 million persons or million people around the world, they are threatened to face hunger and to face acute levels of hunger. Well, it's by this we'll leave you just, ladies and gentlemen, with this report, and by this we reach to the end of our today's episode of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching, and from myself, Hanan El Khul.
According to a World